Let's go. Welcome to the SUSE QE Tools Workshop of this week. Today, we would like to talk about openqa review and how to handle comments by openqa review. So, what we can take a look at is, let's focus here, best practices for handling openqa review reminder comments, and in particular about still failing tests which are linked in closed tickets. So I have some examples here. If we take a look on the report, this is just a daily report that is generated by openqa review. Then we will see that there's a section about closed bugs, and let's look for tumbleweed results. And here what we see is where we have soft fails or failing openqa tests which are linked to bug reports or tickets which are closed. So I would say these are all candidates which eventually should be handled, because who will look at failing tests when they see that there's already a ticket linked to that. But then if you look closely, you will see that it's actually closed tickets. And that can also be reflected in openqa. So if you take a look here, and that's the same picture as on the test overview page, you will see the little red flash icon, which is standing on its head, and it's in red, not in yellow, meaning that this is actually a closed ticket. And apparently what we have here is a case of a sporadically recurring issue, and it's linked to the same ticket. If you take a look at the URL in the bottom, it's 110581, and they are all about the same case. So what we see on the current job is comment by SimStar, which was originally on a much older job with a reference to this ticket. And because the job is still failing in XRDP client, so likely if we would go back to that job, which is from 2 months ago, we could also see that it's failing in XRDP client. And if you take a look here, then it says something about failed to modify connection. So Pavel, yes, I looked at the example. You can also say, so Pavel, you know the example, right? Good. Tell us about it.
Is this latest job?
No, that's the original job. This is the job when a progress ticket was
yes.
related to that, right? And you're making a good point. Let's take a look at the latest job, and what we see as a failure is, well, it should be obvious. That's quite different, right?
Yes.
So
I mean, I was recently fighting with the openqa review bot. So yeah, please continue, Oliver.
right. So this is why I picked the example. Also, what's maybe good to know is that originally it failed in step 14, and now we are actually progressing much further. So this was the original step that failed, and we can see that this is going fine now, but the test module still fails in the same module, but in a later step. So this is why, from openqa point of view, when we have the carryover, openqa cannot know how many steps would still count as the same issue or a different issue. So this is why openqa is still carrying over that progress ticket from one instance to the next one. And let's take a look here. Yeah, we can see that if the test fails, which not always happens, it does fail in the same module. So this is why the ticket is carried over. And how to handle that, we will talk about shortly. But first, so what we see is the test still fails and is still linked to this ticket. Let's take a look on how it looks like from the point of view of this ticket. So originally, 2 months ago, there was this problem about ANS4, and then Pavel picked it up, and then there was a pull request, and the pull request has been merged and seems to work. And I can confirm that because, we have seen that this problem doesn't appear anymore. So rightly so, the ticket was resolved. Now, what happens then? About 2 weeks later, openqa review says like there's an automated message for openqa integration by the openqa review script. This bug, this ticket, is still referenced in a failing openqa test, which is the scenario which we just looked at, and is still failing in this module. Okay, so what could be the reason? Well, we already know further, but what it could have been is it could be that the fix was not actually ever effective, works on my machine on the side of the developer, but it never really fixes the issue in production. Or it could be that the fix was never actually deployed, and that's more likely to happen for product issues. So let's say some maintainer of an upstream project actually fixed something, pull request on GitHub was merged or something like that, but the fix was never reaching downstream into the according OpenSUSE package, or maybe for SLE, or maybe just one of these versions, right? Maybe it's fixed for Tumbleweed, but the same problem happened for Leap, and there was never a backport, a maintenance update, which would fix it. So the same issue still happens in another scenario. It could be that the test actually should not be triggered at all, and maybe the complete product still has tests, but it's not under development. So then we should make sure that the test itself is removed, or the complete openqa job group is moved to released or end of life. Well, that's certainly not the case here for Tumbleweed. But there would be a third option, which would be to say, well, what we see here, and this is the current case, is there is an issue. It's in the same module, but it's not the same problem. So likely it's best to handle it in a separate ticket. And we can handle it in different ways. We could handle it in a way to say, we will just remove that that comment here. If we would be logged in and if you have the right permissions, we could delete the comment. Or maybe better, we create a ticket and add a new comment pointing to the new issue, and then that one would be carried over because it's always the latest one that's carried over. So, Pavel, would you like to explain how you saw the story unfold from your area? Because I think you did pretty good here.
Yeah, well, at the end, when I was notified again that the bug like is still referenced in the jobs,
Yeah.
but and I looked at it and I saw that it is irrelevant. Then I think in one job I tried to set the won't fix parameter for the this
Right.
ticket reference.
Do you know in
But
which job that was? Because I couldn't find that comment in this scenario here.
no.
So it was another related scenario, and that would be a right approach, but it would be necessary to do that in in the other place at least. Oh,
Yeah, but
wait, you said here.
well, it is.
So yeah. Ah, I see. Right. So you put
Yeah,
in that label. So let's see what happens here. We see that you put that label here, and then in the next ticket is still carried over. Yeah. So I think the suggestions of openqa review aren't really good, because what happens is that you wanted to stop the carryover and say this has nothing to do with this progress ticket. But the problem is for carryover, we would just look at the latest progress ticket reference. So as long as there is a comment here with a valid progress ticket, regardless of any other comments, I mean, the label is valid. Labels are not carried over. You can see it's detected as a label, so that's all good. But what the carryover does is to say, as long as the job fails, it will carry over the latest comment which has a valid bug ref, which would still be that one. So it would be necessary to either delete that comment, or it would be
or create new ticket.
Exactly. So if you have a new ticket which says fails in XRDP client, something about desktop login or something, and put that as, as part of the same comment or in an additional comment, then that one would be carried over in case that the test still fails. Yes.
Yeah, the problem in this particular case was that I was not sure if I should create a new ticket or what I should do. So I think I asked Dimstab. It does not matter. Yeah. Okay. I will probably create a ticket myself.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you. I didn't want to put you on the spot. Just pick a random example which I found, and
No,
I
this
think
is good. Thank you.
right. There are other cases. So for example, we have here in the upgrade scenario, we have a progress ticket about the shutdown being too slow, and that one is rejected. So also here, we could say like, why is there no reminder comment? But that one was just done 2 days ago. And we can see that progress ticket was rejected. Why? Well, because it seems to be actually a product bug. So it's also the right call. I wouldn't say that's a valid case where we would just say like, yeah, okay, we find all the scenario and we follow the ticket and then reject it, and then we follow this and then we find the product. That's all good. However, what I think would be to shortcut that would be likely better to put that bug directly into these jobs. Dimstar?
Yeah, for this rejected one, I think the best approach is actually to replace the bug references, which I'm currently busy with, just to actually give it the reference to the product bug instead of the progress ticket now.
I see. Perfect. Yes.
So that's
absolutely.
better than we don't have that declined or rejected ticket anymore, but we actually have the reference to the current one that is being worked on.
And that would be perfect. And then this entry would go away here. So, see this list of closed tickets like a to-do list. So these are all issues which shouldn't be here. That list should be empty for every product. Okay. To be very correct, that list should be empty. So if possible, we would make sure that they wouldn't appear here. And if you would have an open valid product bug, which is linked to failing openqa test, then it would all be fine. However, what can of course always be considered is to say, well, the test fails and the test will continue to fail. And as we just saw in the previous example, the carryover feature is lightweight, but it has its limit, right? So a more specific approach of labeling a failure would be a soft failure, because then from within the test code, we could do something like grep for a specific string in the log files in the system journal, or check for a specific needle, and only if that needle matches on this and this product version, then we will record a software failure. So that would be more helpful and more safe approach. So that can always be considered. So this is why I think it's also okay to have a progress ticket additionally to it being a product issue to improve the error reporting. Okay, but here we can already see that perfect. So from the progress ticket, which by now is closed, we turn into a bug because you just added that reference. So cool that we found that example. Okay, guys, any of your other best practices or common approaches that you would like to share, or maybe questions that you have, or problems that you see? Maybe I can also start a poll. What do you think about openqa review reminder comments? So I will open a poll here in Jitsi. Option 1 should be, well, let's see. So, oops, just 4. Yeah, I opened a poll. It's a multi-checkbox poll. So if you like, you can pick multiple entries, and the poll is open in Jitsi if you'd like to answer there. In the meantime, there is one thing which I recently prepared, which is script. Actually, something that we could build into openqa review itself. The script is, well, a script to reopen tickets with unhandled openqa review reminders. And this is actually what happened here. In the example we looked at first, is that we have resolved tickets which have an openqa review reminder comment. And then openqa review reopens this tickets to say, please handle the reminder comment. And Pavel just showed in a really nice example that how this worked out nicely. Marita?
Oliver, I think, sorry.
Yeah, Pavel first.
My turn,
Go on.
please. Okay, Oliver, I think the poll is missing the option that the comments are nice, but some improvements would be needed. But I will open a poll regularly, so
that would be perfect. You can just click the helpful but annoying, and then of course give constructive feedback of how we can improve.
No.
Okay, Marita?
Marita, sorry.
Marita, I can see you raised your hand. Can't hear you, sorry. Sorry, you need to check your microphone. So yeah, I have this script prepared, and I would like to ask you, is it, I feel like it's necessary to reopen tickets with, and Marita, just try if I can hear you, I can tell you. Can't hear you yet. So I think it's necessary to reopen tickets to bring them into process again. I know that every team works a bit differently, and of course, you can decide on your own how you handle all these issues based on priorities. It would be good if people react more to comments on resolved tickets, but I can also understand why this could be overlooked. Any feedback on that? Do you think that's the right approach?
Can you repeat?
Would you like it for the tickets to stay resolved and then you open them yourself, or do you think it's the right approach to use a script which is run by not a person to reopen tickets and ask you to say handle this, because they won't go away by ignoring. Most of them won't go away.
I think it is the right approach.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Anyone that would like to start a lively discussion and not just agree? Come on, guys. I need some of you to challenge the process.
I find this horrible for no particular reason.
Thank you. Maybe one can wonder, why do we even need review reminder comments at all? Why do we even need that cross-linking? Because, openqa still tells us that tests are failing. Isn't that enough as an entry on the to-do list?
I would say it's probably not the same people looking at both sites.
Okay, right?
I mean, the ticket is usually assigned to a specific developer, be it QE, be it a maintainer of a package. And the review list, that's, well, you guys, possibly me, and then it's probably it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, others?
In the openqa, unless it's some very specific job group to you, then, for example, in the Tumbleweed, it is just so broad that if you're not like specific Tumbleweed reviewer, then you will probably not notice it. Otherwise, there is a ticket assigned to you, and yeah, and as you're already watching the ticket, then I think it is the place for the bots to notify.
Yeah.
So you directly notified.
True. Right.
And no action from the reviewer is needed, because if the script would not notify you, but the error would be there, then someone, the reviewer, would need to go and notify you, but it is done by the script, so it's
True. It would be the same effect, but much more work on the side of review. So it's helping.
yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask something weird?
Yeah.
Can we implement in OpenQA some notification system that when you log in, you get some notifications?
Yeah. Good question. The reason why we don't have that is because we just simply don't know a good way how to control what to notify you about. Would you like to be notified about all failing tests in openqa when you log in? Likely
Yeah,
not, right?
likely not.
You would then you would receive like 1,000 notifications every day
Yeah,
for
likely not.
yeah. So you would subscribe to individual scenarios or products or something like that.
Yeah,
Right?
but if you think like in a sense of queues, rabbit queues and stuff, you can have channels and each consumer can subscribe to this channel, so you can have channels and maybe
Correct.
somehow you can
That's what we have with RabbitMQ. So there's already the RabbitMQ telling you about every single job, and then you can filter for only the failed job which meets certain criteria.
yeah, but can you have like channel per group? And
You mean a job group?
yes, per job group. So like Felix and Pavel will get notified for the groups that are
Yes.
interested in. And
What we currently have for that is we already have notifications in place. You see this mail to address, and if you put mailing lists there, then the mailing lists should be notified. And that's, you can also see that Slack has specific mail addresses per Slack room, so you will receive a notification in the Slack room. Okay, so any ideas for improvements or extensions that you have? Yeah, if you, as Pavel mentioned, if you have cool ideas, then you can also bring them up. And then I would like.
I have cool idea, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when I received this notification, it took me quite a while to go up in the description or the first comments to actually find an OpenQA job, and then in the job I had to go to the next and previous, and then find actually a failing job.
You mean
so
you would
maybe
follow this link here, and then you will go to the first stop of the failing module, and then you would go to next and previous results?
Yes. And then you need to go to the latest. But it's not the latest. You need to go to the
I see. Yes.
latest failed.
So the comment is not necessarily the latest job.
I mean,
yeah, we have a direct
the
link.
reviews.
We have a direct link to the latest job for this scenario, which is a link that doesn't have the specific job ID. So with that one, we could jump immediately to the most recent job in a scenario. However, yeah, so you know, one could think about putting that link into that message as well.
Yes, because there is a message to the documentation, but the bot is saying you that there is the bug is still referenced in following test, but you cannot click it. So you need to spend, I don't know, like maybe a minute actually finding the actual job which is failing.
Yeah, this is the actual job that is failing. The link is correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's you know, it shows failed here, and it fails in this step.
Okay.
So it does fail. It's possible to compare. Of course, it's always possible and helpful to compare that to the latest run, which in that case would be you would need to go to the first page. You would find that one, or just follow this link latest. But what does it tell you? It tells you it passed. So you don't know, was the issue fixed in the meantime? Is that a sporadic issue and such?
Yeah, I did not notice the link in the message from the bot.
Ah, I see. Okay, I understand. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, that should be clear. There's a single link there. So, you know, this is also why I would say, I mean, I know how some people read read the message, and you know, might be different for you, but many people just say there's a single URL, I'm going to click it, right? So I don't want to put in
Oliver,
another URL. Yeah.
There is another comment. There is also the comment 7 days ago.
Yes, about reopening. Yeah.
Yes, about reopening. So this is the message I was confused, because you get a message that it was reopened, but the link goes to the documentation.
I see. Ah, okay.
This comment I meant, not the previous is older, but this is the new comment, right? The reopening tickets with unhandled OpenQA review reminders.
Right,
This
right.
is the one I was, yeah.
Okay, good point. So we can rephrase this message. So basically what I wanted to say is I'm reopening this ticket because there's an unhandled OpenQA review reminder comment, which is the previous. It's always the previous one. Only if the previous one is by OpenQA review, then we will reopen it.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I think we will maybe just do is whenever we write this comment, we reopen the ticket in the same step, and then it should be clear, because then there would only be a single comment.
No, I mean, when yeah, I think it's maybe okay. When I got this notification, then the ticket was reopened. I opened the ticket, but I did not remember what it is. So I went up to the description. I opened the latest. The latest was not failing. And, then I spent like a minute just looking where is the problem. But yeah, the link I should click is in the previous comment, actually. So yeah, now I know.
Right. Okay. By the way, that script which I have written is doing mostly two things. What it does, it varies the Redmine API for all issues of a certain query ID. So I'm giving it one specific ID for the query, which is 737. And that's exactly the query which is also referenced here in the guideline to have no closed tickets with unhandled review reminder comments. If we take a look there, then we see that there are currently no tickets. Why? Because the script automatically reopened them. And then what it does is goes through all the issues and it's reopening them. How does it do that? Well, with curl and the put method. And what you give then is a JSON string with the ID of the new status, which is 4. 4 corresponds to feedback. So I don't think there's a way to put in the status directly as human readable string, but we just select the ID of the new status and a note, which will be a comment which goes along with the change, and then the ID, and it will look like that. So it's making a status change of the ticket from any state to feedback, and it's adding that note there. Yeah, so I think a goal should be to say on a regular basis, so this is a never-ending task, this list should be empty. And I'm only reopening progress tickets automatically. I'm not doing that for product bugs. But I would say for bugs, the same must happen. Because what we have is in OpenQA, we report a failure, and there is a product issue which is linked, but nobody is working on the product issue because the ticket was resolved already for it, which is, the work is considered done. This is closed. So I'm assuming the right process is to make sure that there would be only failing tests which are linked to open tickets. Any different approaches to that? Or is that, is that unrealistic? Should we just, let's say, give up and not care about it and ignore such mismatches? I think I need to challenge you more to course correction. Let's say I can simplify that a lot. I can reduce the load on our infrastructure. We will just delete every OpenQA job and delete the schedule for all the jobs which are linked to closed tickets because they're useless. Nobody's working on this, fixing it anyway, right?
Just continue that thought of train of thought to what I said on April 1st. Just delete openqa.
Yeah, that would reduce the load on our infrastructure. Thank you. And then Tumbleweed would have less bugs, right? Less.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. So something for Hack Week.
Now, I think generally the approach is okay. I mean, we need something to be challenged if tickets are wrongly assigned, like we have seen in the XRTP or also in the shutdown, where we actually need new references. That's probably one of the best. I myself use just the failed overview of the group one to identify the red ones, but I don't do this daily, which is pretty much the same as the tool suggests to do in the end.
Yes.
So as such, any help there is certainly good. There are cases like
what you meant is you would look over that list and take a look on where they are
just
actually.
Look where there's a red icon behind it.
And currently there's none, so that's nice.
Which is surprising because the kernel lockdown which one is this? The T file I think should be. There's one which I have seen a bug report being fixed, which will be fixed with the next kernel, but the next kernel is of course still a few weeks out.
Right.
So the fix is backported to Leap, where it's now fixed, but for Tumbleweed it will take a while.
Ah, interesting.
It's but that's some knowledge which I have just about this bug report, which I know here it will say red. It's not red yet. That's showing up soonish. But that's not going to help, of course.
Unfortunately, you cleaned up some of the red flash icons.
I can put them back if you want.
Well, little hint for anybody: we can actually take a look on the test overview page from an older state. And no, but this, I think it will still show the same job. Well, never mind.
You can look at the overview
the previous
of
build,
the previous snapshot. There you will see the red icons.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because those I didn't fix up. Just go on the red one at the top right.
Right, I can click here, and then we see red flash icons. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Any other comments or additions anyone would like to do here? If not, then I would say we are done with that topic. So thank you all for participating and also giving helpful feedback. The next week we will skip the SUSE QE Tools Workshop because next week SUSE has its famous Hack Week, and this is where everybody should really focus on, hacking on your own stuff. And openqa for me is my weekly business, so I will also look into something different. And the week after that, we will have a lessons learned meeting where we will present the lessons learned from a recent incident where openqa SUSE QE was not reachable anymore or showed response time, taking longer than half a minute or never ending, starting on the 20th of June. And we will have some interesting insights to share here and tell you on how we try to mitigate, how we investigated, and what we defined as improvements, how to go on. Until then, thank you for your attendance and see ya. Goodbye.